Hello. Hi, how are you? Welcome to another episode of the Short, Pale, and Handsome podcast. I'm your boy, Loy Lee. Today would be Monday, April 19th. How are you? How art thou? How's your ma? I hope all is well. I hope that we are getting to the end of this COVID lockdown, and you guys are out there gallivanting around safely in the state that you're in. I hope. I hope you're out there wearing shorts and flip flops, just armpits all out, tank tops, not caring, just wearing a mask. Because it's all fun and games until Nana gets sick, right? Right? We have a moral obligation to our old people, contrary to what it looks like here in America. I don't know. Take care of your old people. Protect the old ones and the children. What's going on? What is going on with you guys? I've been diligently busy. I've been busy trying to come up with something to buy my wife. Her birthday is coming up. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mrs. Lee. Happy birth. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But I've been trying to figure out. I always struggle with gift giving. I always get like a meaningful gift, but I never get the like, wow, this is what you wanted. You've been looking for this forever. This is the thing that you've been anticipated. Le piece de resistance to your birthday. I'm not good at that. I get the, oh yeah, here's, oh, you want it, I buy it, whatever. Or you want it, I'll figure it out. But for your birthday to like make it an occasion, I don't know. Never really been good at that. So I've been trying to figure it out incognito. I've been trying to figure it out nonchalant, like on the slide. I am inconspicuous like a hammer to the head. Hey, baby, like, hypothetically, if your birthday was coming up, what would you want, hypothetically, in a hypothetical world? She's like, my birthday is coming up. I know, I'm just saying. There was a poll online, I guess. I'm not good at this. Like, hey, I'm just trying to fill out a survey in Cosmo or something. Top 10 gifts. What would your top five be? My wife, I love her. She likes to travel. I mean, that's really what it is. She likes to travel, spend a little bit of cashish, foreign cash, if at all possible. So that's what we try to do. And didn't happen last year. Didn't happen for the big 4-0 for me, and it didn't happen for her, and it doesn't look like it's happening again. And that's why I'm curious. I'm curious, like, where is it open? Like, are we just gonna have to go vacation in Texas, deep down in the heart of Texas? The rabbits rush along the deep down in. I don't know the words. As you can tell, if you've been listening long enough, you realize, Loy, stop saying you don't do it well and you don't know the words to anything. You're right. You're right. I don't. But what's open right now? Texas is open. Florida is open. I don't know. There's not a lot of places to go at this moment. Because all the places worth going are not here. All the places worth going, you need a passport. And with a passport, you gotta go, like, you gotta get tested a few days beforehand, and then you get there, you gotta get tested, and then you gotta stay 14 days, 2 weeks in quarantine, and then when you get out, you get to gallivant, and then you get back on the plane, get a COVID test when you land, and then another 2 weeks before you can go about your regular day. So that's not worth it. Like we just don't have the funds or the means to go, yeah, let's just blow 2 months out of our lives. Let's just blow a month and a half. 1 full month of quarantine. I don't know. Protect the old people, right, people? But yeah, that's what I've been trying. Trying to figure out. Like, I'm really, like I said, I'm really good at like meaningful gifts, gifts that like mean something. Like, hey, I think you would get a kick out of this. I think this means something to you, something like that. But like the want, like the, hey, here's the thing you've always wanted. Nah, I'm not good at that. And I blame my dad. This is what happens when you don't father your children properly, people. I blame my upbringing. Wow, that got weird. Okay. 5.5 minutes in, we're talking about my dad issues. Uh let's keep on digging down in this deep dark hole that I've dug myself into. This past week DMX has passed away. And growing up in the 90s and being a teenager in the 90s and being an adult in the 2000s, DMX would definitely be part of the soundtrack to my life. And I remember I must have been a sophomore or junior in high school when he came out. It's dark and hell is hot, which is still my favorite saying ever when I think something is fucked up. When I see something and like something's just completely jacked up and I've got nothing good to say, I'm just like, well, it's dark and hell is hot. Um, and that just reminds me, like, connecting that, like the music that I'm familiar with, connecting it to the music that I'm not familiar with. Little Nas X, who's apparently a rapper that has no affiliation with Nas. I don't know. I, he came out with a shoe that was like Satan orientated, had 666, apparently had a drop of blood in the soul. Huh, that's funny. A drop of blood in the soul. Uh, and like in the video, he's like giving the devil the lap dance, and people are losing their mind, being like, "This is not my hip hop. Hip hop is the devil, rap is the devil." And I'm like, yeah, this sounds like exactly the same things they were saying since I was growing up. DMX back in 1997 or 98, I don't remember, comes with an album that says it's dark and hell is hot. And then the second album was Blood on My Blood. And he's like drenched in blood on the album cover, like Carrie, right? Hip hop has never been in line with the church and it's never been a surprise. I don't know where I'm going with that one, but I'm saying DMX has passed away, and I remember listening to him growing up. I mean, I remember it was the strangest thing. DMX had the most gangsterous, hardest dudes on the block that I knew, barking like a dog. Very strange. Especially at the time when it was very like bad boy, bad boys who weren't bad boys, which is strange. Bad boys that were dressed up like spacesuits, flashy jumpsuits, and fancy, funny looking clothes. And then he brought it back. He brought it back wearing a choker chain, wearing freaking just a bulletproof vest, and a tank top underneath it. Tim's, he brought it back to the hood and had the whole hood barking like a dog. With a hood, with a hood, with a hood at. I remember one of my first actual concerts, and I'm actually kind of ashamed to say this because you would think that I went to a lot of concerts as much as music as I consumed growing up, but I hated concerts because I don't like to be around a large amount of people. Never have, never will. Just sporting events. Been to a lot of them. Don't enjoy them. Don't enjoy being around in that close proximity of people. But my first concert was DMX, the Rough Riders, and Cash Money Millionaires. It was Rough Riders, Cash Money Millionaires tour, Boston, Massachusetts. Must have been 98 ish. I'd have to look that up. I don't remember. But I remember going and I remember being there. And in Boston, everybody knows somebody that works everywhere. No matter where, no matter who you are, no matter where you go, you know somebody that's got a cousin that works somewhere that you're at. That was super generic, Loy. I had a buddy whose cousin worked at the Fleet Center or the Garden. I think they called it the Fleet Center back then. It had just opened up. And I remember being like not having backstage passes, but since we knew him, he worked security there. He let us in, but not in the backstage area, but like in the corridor, in like that DMZ area where you weren't watching the performances. You were in the back, but you weren't backstage. You were backstage, but you weren't in the back room. You were just in the hallway that connected the two. And I remember being in the hallway, and I had never had smoked weed until apparently that night. I was higher than shit. I was like, well, if I don't smoke, I should be fine, right? But the smoke, you barely could see your hand in front of your face, and like it was from waist to ceiling, just smoke. It it was Cash Money Millionaires in the Rough Riders in the late '90s, and I remember, being like, "Huh, this is a weird smoke machine. Is this what the smoke from the smoke machine smells like? This is horrible." And I'm high. That's how you know you're high when you're like, "Huh, there's no way I could be high right now." Yeah, so we're standing out there, me and my buddy, whose cousin let us in. We're standing there. We're like in this hallway, and we hear a fight break out. It was loud. Everything was going slow motion, and then we just see people running out of the room, out of the back, the green room, running out and going in both directions of the hallway. And our high dumbasses go, "Huh?" And we started walking towards that, towards the danger, because we were high and we were curious and we were like, "Huh? Well, what's the worst that it could be? I mean, we're backstage. What could be horribly going wrong backstage? Go backstage." So we like by that time security that was holding like that part, kind of like holding the gateway blockade, the embargo of that area had turned around and gone into the room. So we kind of were able to walk basically into the room. We kind of poke our dumbasses in. It's kind of like, huh? And people breaking out to a fight, and I see the biggest dude ever pick up a bench, like a locker room bench, and throw it at somebody. And it was one of those things where, like, we see this guy running at us, and then we see behind him the bigger dude throw the bench basically at our direction and then collapse the guy that was running at us. And we just like, oh, I think I'm high. That was my first and basically my last concert ever. And it was at that point, Cash Money must have been on stage because it was the East Coast. Cash Money, nobody cared about Cash Money back then. Like Lil Wayne, Birdman, fucking C Money, C Murder, Silk the Shocker, all of those guys wearing lugs, Birdman. Uh, they were probably on stage. They probably opened because the East Coast is Rough Rider territory. So yeah, the Rough Riders were getting into a fight backstage. I don't think I've ever been to a concert since. I've been to a bunch of stand up concerts, of course, but not like music concerts. They were whatever. The parts that I do remember just being in the nosebleed seats and just being like, this music sucks, bro. This sounds like it sounds better at my house on a CD or my MP3 player. Totally sounds better on my MP3 player, bro. You could actually hear the words. Not this bullshit. I don't think I've ever been to a. I don't think I've ever been to a concert since. I have uh, zero want or need to go to a concert. I've been to a couple music festivals. Does that count, guys? Hey, guys, does that count? Sure, I've been to a couple music festivals, but that's about it. Um, Shout out to DMX. It's funny. I kind of forgot for some reason. I always thought like DMX's name was Damien, Damien something, right? Because that was his persona, DMX, Darkman X, Damien. And I'm sure I read it somewhere. His name is Earl. Earl is like that old black man's name. Like he was like he was named after a 50-year-old black man back when he was in his 20s, back when I was in my teens. And then to find out that he died at 50, named Earl, I was like, wow, that's now he finally grew into his name. I feel bad though. Like drugs it's not good, people. Like nobody wins on drugs. Um, I did find out though something that circulated into my into my atmosphere was him singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. If you guys haven't heard DMX singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, it does two things. It warms your heart in a way that you would never think hip hop could, and it proves that DMX was on crack. That's it. It was great and horrible at the same time. I'm going to watch it literally every Christmas. I'm going to listen to it. Like I'm going to put it on my rotation from now on. And it's sad. It's sad. DMX passed away. Rest in peace. Uh, I I found out this week that Black Rob from basically the same time era, where he had one track like whoa, DMX died like whoa, Black Rob not far behind like whoa. He passed away. He passed away today, yesterday, today. Shout out to that. And like, it's getting to the point where like all the people that I looked up to or were like in my universe when I was growing up is passing away. And now that I'm thinking about like Black Rob, Bad Boys, fucking horrible track record. Now that we're talking about it, let's talk about this, guys. Biggie Smalls, dead. Black Rob, dead. Craig Mack, dead. Mace, preacher. Shine, went to jail. Now a rabbi, extradited. Can't come into the United States anymore. I think he's in Belize. I don't know. I think Bad Boy has a horrible track record. Death Row Records, let's look at this. Suge Knight in jail. Tupac dead. Snoop still around. Still around. Kicking on his cooking show with Martha Stewart, commentating for the worst boxing promotion I've ever seen in my life. On a board of the worst announcers ever. Uh, Dr. Dre, billionaire. I think Death Row is the label that pays me. Warren G, kicking around somewhere. Was he on Death Row? Probably not. I don't know. That's wild. That's wild. Bad Boy, Little Kim, jail, horrible. Looks like an old Korean auntie that just will not give up. Will not, is still holding on for dear life. The question I ask now is, where is Loon? Is Loon okay? Is he around? The locks got out, broke free. Congratulations. It's like they left like Hotel California. You can check out anytime you please, but you can never leave. Knock yourself out. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Um, I have been getting up. I've been getting up a lot more lately, going back to stand up comedy, and it still doesn't feel right. Like, it still feels like there's a lot of rust I gotta, like, sand off. And I'm not doing any new jokes. I'm doing the jokes that like, okay, I know this work. Let me see if I can calibrate my timing right. Let me see if I can get the reaction I was getting beforehand. Let's see if I can't recalibrate this thing. And it's coming along. It's a work in progress. Work in progress. I I'm trying to get out to more shows and just be out, but I am I'm struggling. Like it's depressing at the amount of things that I could be at home doing when I go out. So now when I go out, I'm like, I want to get my set in. I want to shake hands. I want to kiss babies. I want to high five. I want to go home in that order. Set, shake hands, high five, kiss babies, go home. I think I messed that order up. Not relevant, but that's what I want to do. And I get home and I want to edit the video. I want to write more. I want to write more jokes. I want to look at the jokes that I'd written during COVID and see if any of this shit makes sense. I'm going through the stuff, like I'm going through my old jokes that I wrote during COVID, and full of hope. Who knew? Who knew this was gonna be a year and counting? The guy that wrote these jokes, not that guy, not that guy at all. So, I'm kind of like, okay, is there a gem in here? There isn't. Tear it out, put it in the back of the book. And that's my writing process, guys. You basically write the joke, and then the next day you write more jokes, and then you write more jokes the next day, and then the next day. And at some point, you get to you like, especially when you hit writer's block, you go back over the old jokes. You don't even look at them up until you hit writer's block. You hit the bottom, you go back to the top, and you read it, and you just edit it. You're like, that doesn't work. That's trash. That doesn't make any sense. And here's the gem. Here's the gem. Let's use this gem and put it at the top of the page and then write for that. That's how I get through writer's block. And then you go to the next one. And then you go to the next one. Next day, same thing. Nothing to add to that first page. Great. You start going over the jokes again. And when I cross it out, I don't like scribble it. I just go, nope. And sometimes if I'm studious, I will cross a line and I'll write the date that I cross the line. So at the top of the page it says, "Hey, I started to write this on April 1st, April Fool's Day," and then I cross it off in June. I went back in June and go, okay, June 3rd. And then when I go back at it again, I look at it for the third time and go, okay, in June this didn't make sense. Let's see if I can't make it make sense. Let's see if I can't make this funny. So I think that a lot of my writing has a lot to do with like proofreading. Let's get my brain going in a direction, and then put it away, and let me grow. Let me think about it. Let it breathe. Let me think about it. Uh, let's just put it to the side, and then come back. I've grown, right? I can see things from a new perspective. And then that's how I write my jokes. You're like, Lloyd, that is the most boringest segment of today's show. You're right. Maybe. But that's how I write. If you're curious, like, hey, how do these jokes work? And then what I'll do is like kind of I will take like, a couple of the bits, and then I'll bring them up. Like, okay, well, DMX works, and then this joke. Okay, let's see if this. I like this one, and I think that's what it comes down to. Is like I like this, and I want to talk about this tonight, and I bring it up. It's only like 5 or 10 minutes. It's pretty easy to remember, and then it grows from there. I listen to the tape. I record the audio, I bring the audio back, and then I poke holes in it and work on it. That is how I work on my jokes, people. But yeah, getting back up, I haven't really done anything new. I've just been trying to calibrate what I currently have and trying to just have a conversation with the crowd. I'm not really in front of too big of crowds right now, which is great. The stakes are so low. There was the other week, somebody just starting comedy was on the show, and he brought literally, it must have been at least 15 people on a show that doesn't have 15 people. They didn't have anybody else to come see. It must have been other than comics, those 15 people and maybe another 10 people, let's say 25 people. And the show was rolling on and on and on. And then they went up and then they talked to their people. And after they got off, 2 or 3 comics later, everyone started to file out one at a time. And that's what happens. If you bring 15 people, expect to go last because once you get off stage, people start leaving. That's where that's a tip for open micers and bringer people doing bringer shows. If you bring a lot of people, expect to go last, and that's why. So I go on stage. I'm up, and almost everyone's gone, and that brought the stakes all the way down. Great set. Zero expectation, and I felt better. I felt better. Went up there, stretched my legs, got some good laughs, and but it's strange. You're going up there, and the timing is everything. And I was trying to explain like how timing, like how to explain when your timing is off. And this is the best way that I can explain a timing. Think of you waking up and somebody has been up for a few hours before you. So you wake up, you go into the kitchen, and your roommate or spouse or family has been up for 2, 3 hours now, and they start talking to you. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they're saying. You're just like, I can't process any of this. Why? Because their timing is off. Your timing is off. I don't know who's who in this analogy, but it's like that frequency is off. And that's the best way I can explain how timing feels. Like when I'm on stage and my timing's off, it just feels like one of us is talking too fast and one of us is talking way too slow. Um, yeah, and it doesn't feel good. And you feel it. It's just like, um, yeah, just I don't know how else to explain it, but this rocking motion of just like banging your head against the wall. Uh, you're like trying to put your hand in something, and you just keep on hitting because your timing's off. Wow, horrible analogy, Loy. But that's now I'm starting. And the more sets that I do, the more it's like okay, like you're I'm just getting in there right, and then I'm remembering like where to hit things differently. Because things are different. Things are different now. We live in a world with COVID, and some things that used to fly before don't fly anymore, and some things that didn't fly before now fly. I don't know. I don't know why, but we are different now as a whole. But what is great is COVID is something that we all experienced. There are people that are rich, there are people that are poor, there's people from the East Coast, West Coast, international, North, South, and we all have different experiences. And there's some things, some universal truths, there's some human conditions that are true, but not everybody has experienced the same thing. But COVID has affected us universally. So that is a very interesting thing that I've been seeing is that, like, hey, we are in this together. We have all experienced this at the same time, in real time, and none of us could have been, would have been, or was capable of being ready for this or prepared for this. So, going into my jokes, into my sets with that lens, I think has made a huge difference. We all are meeting on the same level, and I think it's made me reconsider all of my material beforehand, and it's making me re-edit and reevaluate all of my material going forward. So, as things are starting to open up, I am still looking to figure out what is my game plan in getting out of town and coming to your neck of the woods and telling dick jokes for you guys. My game plan is still not out there, and it's scary when like I don't know how this is gonna work out. There's no game plan. There's like really no game plan. I can reach out to the comedy club and be like, hey, I would love do a do a night or do a weekend in your comedy club, and they're like, "Hey, we would too. We don't know when we're gonna be open." We would love, or like, there's a lot of comedy clubs, a lot of comedy producers that I reached out to, and they haven't even reached back yet. Like, I'm afraid that the person that I'm reaching out to is no longer around. I gotta go find them on Facebook to make sure, like, hey, A, are you still alive? B, are you okay? And C, is there still a comedy club out there? Go, like, nothing is more frustrating and disheartening and saddening. Breaks my heart when I go onto a comedy club website and there's like a big announcement: due to COVID, we're not reopening until August. You go, great, August. We're in April. We're almost in May, June, July, August. That's 3 months. That's dope. No, they meant August 2020. They had hopes and dreams of opening in the summer, late summer of 2020. And they probably fired the guy. They probably shut down. They're not there anymore. That makes me sad. That's like losing a friend. And I got to go find the manager on Facebook and be like, "Are you okay?" Yeah, we don't just do comedy anymore. I don't know, man. I'm hoping things are opening up. I hope you guys. I hope this wasn't too depressing. Meh, what are you gonna do? Uh, Man, I hope you guys are safe. Parting words: don't be a dick. Keep your hands to yourself. It's all fun and games until Nana gets sick, right? Do your part. Get vaccinated, don't get vaccinated. I don't know, wear a mask nonetheless. Just do your part. I'm doing mine. I'm doing everything I can. I'm being hopeful. And I keep on telling myself, just be hopeful. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I miss you guys. I really miss traveling. I miss going out of town. I miss seeing you guys. I really had hopes of being like international, going more international. Last year, I did shows in the Philippines. I did shows in London, Paris, Singapore, and oh shit, I got COVID. Yeah, I was really. This year was looking up. This year looked like I was gonna go back. Doesn't look like it. So I don't know. I'm just sad. Hopeful, guys. Hopeful. Hope all you guys are well. If you guys are listening to the audio portion of this, if you guys are on podcasts, um, you can see the video. If you want to see my smiling mug, check out youtube.com/Loy Lee Comedy, and you can find this audio portion. I don't really edit much. There's no difference. You want to see me and hear me, or do you just want to hear me? If you want to hear me, just hear me. Anywhere you find podcasts, I'm there. If you want to see this freaking gorgeous man in the face, youtube.com. Besides that, I got some promotional reads coming up in the future. Just hammering out the details on that. But I'm gonna drop some promo codes for you guys, so that's exciting, right? Hooray! All right, guys, I love you very, 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 very mucho. I hope all is well. I said that already. And on that note, I will see you guys next time. Tell your mom I said hi.